Well, a pleasant good morning and welcome to the CCG Hour. It is great to be alive. It is. I always laugh when I say that. Not, of course, not from a place of I'm laughing at what I'm saying. It's really great to be alive when you think of all the good things that God has done. For me, it is a real honor to be alive. And I'm very sure that my guest, who of course you're accustomed with, is no longer a guest. Gloria, good morning. You here?
Good morning, and how are you this morning? You're great to be alive.
Yes, I'm grateful to be alive. You look very well. You look like hairdresser just came from that.
Yesterday I went to that.
The hairdresser did a fine job, and I need to hang out over there.
I look forward to the day when I'll be able to hang it all out.
What do you mean? The hairdresser?
Instead of putting it up.
So why not do it?
No, it's too confusing.
Is it confusing to let?
Yes.
So, but one of these, maybe for our Christmas program.
And the wind tangles it up and things.
Well, here what?
It's so long.
It is? So here what? Maybe just for a special, because of course, you know, before we turn around twice Christmas reach, because it's just November again, and then we have to have our special program. So maybe, so I'll leave that there. You'll take a hint from that. Maybe we could look like real Christmas special for that program. And then I'll get to hear intro because I've never seen this here down. So maybe you'll have to let down the hair. I mean, of course, that comes with a lot of other meanings.
Behavioral things.
We won't be doing that, but it'll be good to see it let down. Well, this morning, we are going to continue from where we left off. It's been a little while, though.
It's been a little while, but I can't help thinking that we didn't do justice to the topic.
Okay, well, good.
Because we were getting into the language.
And it's true. We didn't even get there. Yes.
And every now and then I come across sayings that I haven't heard for a long time.
Right.
And I wonder what happened to them. And then I also wonder what happened to our oral tradition and our oral history. Because much of those things used to be said by people.
True.
Right? A popular one was hototo. You ever heard the term?
Yes, I know the term, and I use it, but I'm not even sure if I use it correctly.
Well, a lot of people used to use it, but nowadays I don't hear it. Hototo. In other words, you put a lot on it. Give me it hototo. Or, Sparrow again used to say, woman hototo in the place. It means
a lot of woman.
A lot. Yeah.
Oh, really? Hold on, but I never knew the meaning of it, but I've heard the term.
I was told that the meaning of it comes from French, and it means high, of high degree.
Really?
The ton. I don't know if you heard the saying the ton. They talk about the ton in English aristocracy.
No.
You talk about the ton. And
hold on. So would hototo have anything?
H-A-U-T? T-O-N-T-O-N. Hototo.
Hold on. So then where would the hoity-toity come? Because people used to say that before. Maybe it's around.
Be a derivative of the hototo.
Yeah. Because we used to use. I remember hoity-toity. Maybe people still use that.
Yes.
You know, but I think we've gone ahead of ourselves again, eh?
Yeah.
We've done the same. So let's back up a bit. And let's just tell the listeners, because right now I'm sure they wanted, well, these people just gone talking like if they've been here since whenever. So let's just back up a little bit. So some time ago, we started to talk about languages, and we actually ended with us saying that there was a book, really good book, that we were just looking at a lot of the old sayings and so forth. So that's where we kind of ended, yes?
Yes.
However, as Gloria is saying, we certainly did not do full justice because we went ahead. We were so excited, and as we were talking, a lot of other words kept coming up. And then sadly, I did not do the best job of hosting because where Gloria was going, I was just bringing her down the road. And that was not a good thing. But it's just that it was such an exciting thing, and there is so much that we can say. So we will back up a bit today. We will go back into what really is, when we're talking about language and where our language would have, really come from. We'll talk a little bit about that.
The first thing we must do is to recognize that it is a language.
Right.
And we call
Creole.
it Creole. Okay? Several books have been written about it. The one you have there by the
Chases.
Yes. Chases is a famous one.
Right.
And then, I don't know, I think I'll be falling apart. And then Claude Francis of Gauve, whose daughter Nordica Francis was able to come down and launch his book on Grenadian sayings and so on.
Okay.
I have a copy
also
of
the
that.
concept and trying to document that is not new. It's not original. Like, for example, so this book would not be the only one on this. Okay, then, so it's well researched.
Maurice Lagrenard Lashley. Maurice Lagrenard Lashley is the sister of the GG, the Governor General. She launched her book.
Okay.
On Creole too.
Oh, okay.
And then there was another book, or perhaps two books, done by Margaret Joan Joseph. Dr. Margaret Joan Joseph, who is the president of the Creole Association in Grenada.
Right.
Now, that is the last one I know of.
And each dealing with the Creole.
Last year she launched that one.
Because this one is more, it's a dictionary, more, yes. But it said it's a handbook. But when you really look at it, but that is what it says. It's a dictionary of Grenadian English, Creole English, with the grammar and the syntax.
Good.
So it's more dictionary type.
You have Creole English and you have Creole French. Because the word Creole, again, is debated what it means.
Okay.
Actually, you know what I understand? I'm just saying what I understand Creole to mean. It's the existence of a set of people in the Caribbean born from European stock. But they were born in the Caribbean. So once you are born in the Caribbean, you become Creolized. Now, why Creole? I don't know. For instance, the famous New Orleans culture is Creole culture, and it was very French. And Creole, by the way, is spoken not only in the Caribbean,
right,
also
of course,
in the Seychelles, and other parts where the French would have, and the English. So that could be another discussion.
Yes,
but the people who speak Creole says it's a language in its own right,
and I agree, definitely.
So, but our oral tradition, and I say oral tradition because that is the tradition handed from mouth to mouth. We have words we understand and we use. For instance, take this word manger popot. You know what it means?
No, but you can use it. Exactly. You use it and you use it in context. You know what it means in a way, in the context in which it is used.
Manger popot.
Yeah. Or mawet would be a derivative of it.
Mawet is another one.
That one I use.
Yes.
You're just making mawet.
I cannot figure out. I could figure out manger popot. Manger popot comes from manger, the verb to eat in French.
Right, manger, right.
Manger popot.
Interesting.
Popot mean dolly food.
Also, you're making stupidness.
Yes, dolly. Manger popot.
But then that is how, I don't know if I'm correct, but that is how I use mawet. So when I see, well, now I could use manger popot, but when I see, as I say, people making stupidness, I would say, okay, that's just another mawet that going on. But maybe I'm using it incorrectly.
Mawet is also more popular, I think, now I hear a lot of young people.
People saying Mawet. Yeah, yeah.
But I am used to Manje Popot.
Manje Popot. Maybe one of the viewers or listeners could, if it is that they know the actual meaning of it, maybe they could share that with us. So,
but it's also the English form is Papi Show.
Hold on. So, but a Papi Show is not French?
No.
Or
I don't think a Papi Show is French.
Okay. But Papi.
But it comes from puppet show.
A puppet show. Right.
And the Manje Popot is also from the puppet show, or, well, is it dolly food or...
Yeah.
But we have also Kukute.
Yeah, Kukute we know.
Well, Kukute, now Kuku that been one of the African languages. Because remember, by the time we got mixed up,
oh yes,
for instance, there was French only, because that was the colonial power.
Yes.
Although it was not colony, it was a private company that came to settle Grenada.
Right.
But then the crown came in and all of that, and they became French colony ultimately. But then the English came and. But that was after 113 years.
Right.
So you could imagine all the names, all the places' names were French. Names of families were French.
Right.
For instance, I have a great French family name. It's Latouche. And the Latouches date way back.
Really?
Yes, okay. Because I have discovered Dr. Jacob, who used to be the resident tutor at the university. He's a historian and Fedon. Gave me a document which listed 3 Latouches as rebels. In other words, they were with Fedon. And there was this act of attainder that listed a number of people who, on sight, you could arrest them and bring them to the authorities.
Okay.
So, and there were three Latouche names. So I assume that this Latouche French family would have been here from way back. And you have Delamoth. Well, in fact, you go to the phone book and you look up L and you see all the La.
So the La. Yeah. Right.
Those are French
names.
Right? Gelino, the Neau. Benoit.
Right.
You ever wondered why Benoit is spelled B-E-N-O-I-T?
Yeah.
And people say Benoit. That's a
definitely French. Yes.
And one of the French names that really get me, I love it. Savane-Swayze. You ever heard of that place?
No.
Savane-Swayze is just before you get into Bathory or Batwe, which is the correct way to say Batwe, because Batwe is named after the batfish.
Really?
Not anything to do with having a bath.
So it's B-A-T?
W-E-Y. And then up came the English and they started to anglicize a lot of these names.
Okay.
For instance, Jean Anglais.
Right.
It's not Jean Anglais. But they spell it in the map as Jean Anglais.
Right.
But it's Gens Anglais, meaning English people, not English John. Because the people who live in Jean Anglais don't tell you they live in Jean Anglais. They tell you they live in Jean Anglais.
Okay, well, you render me speechless. All I can say is go ahead.
But I'm just trying to show that a lot of these French names, for instance, cafe. I know about 3 cafes in Grenada.
In Grenada, yes.
There's one right behind my village.
Right, and then you have the one in St. Andrews.
Yeah, one in St. Andrews. And I think there might be one in Carriacou. But obviously it comes from coffee.
Right.
You know, whether if there were coffee plantations in those areas, I don't know.
Okay.
So let's go to the Amerindians. Now, whether they were Carib, Arawak, Siboney, or any other. The fact remains is there were Amerindians in Grenada.
Right.
And they had a language. I disclaimed that the word Butu comes from them.
The Butu that we say as in about, to hit, right.
That is an Amerindian word. Kariaku is an Amerindian word, they claim.
Okay.
Mabuya. And we refer to Mabuya as a place with evil spirits.
Right, I know that, but I didn't know that is what it meant.
Well, anywhere where, for instance, outside Goa, where the land keeps shifting and moving and coming down in the sea, that is a place they call Mabuya. They say because they have evil spirits moving the thing about.
Oh, really?
Moving the top of the tree about.
It's the first time I heard that explanation for the moving of land.
Mabuya is also a lizard that what lizard we call it? We call it.
Which one? The one that sticks?
The Americans call it geckos. The gecko. The ugly lizard, very ugly lizard. It's supposed to stick. It has suction.
The suction, yeah.
The thing.
Right.
And it's very
no, but we have a name for it in truth, but I cannot remember because we don't say gecko.
No, we don't.
There is a word we say. For the life of me, I cannot remember what we usually say. I'm not sure.
I think they call it Mabuya too. But anyway, those words were Amerindian words.
Right.
And another word that is quite interesting, and it sounds very French, but it's not a French word, is Duquesne.
Right.
And it's spelled D-U-Q-U-E-N-S-E.
Right.
Duquesnes. But I understand that was the name of a Carib chief.
And that we could see how that can have a lot of sense or truth in it, because right along that Duquesne area, that is where you have the Carib markings and so forth. Exactly.
Yes.
So
and that those petroglyphs, I assume too, would have been markers to tell the others that this is where you land. This is a safe place to land. And then there was Ruta Maya. I call it Ruta Maya because that is what the Mexicans call the route the Mayas took to come through Mexico.
But it was a Maya, meaning the route of the Mayans.
But there was a route that they took from Duquesne up the hills to Union by the police station.
Right.
There's another marker there. There's another petroglyph there. And then they went into the forest and into the Mount St. Catherine area, because there are some
markings up there as well.
Petroglyphs up in the
interesting.
Come down to Mount Rich.
Also, that is the whole link to go all the way back over
and
to.
And they go over to Pearls.
Okay.
The Pearls, which was a big trading place. That's why there are so many artifacts in Pearls. It was flat, and it was a big marketplace, because they claim that, again, this is conjecture, that all of the Amerindians, the different nations, if they weren't fighting each other, they were trading with each other.
What an interesting relationship.
And so they had a big marketplace down at Pearls, where they exchanged precious stones for perhaps vegetables and other things.
Okay.
I don't know. That was way back.
I mean, of course, yeah.
Really way. That is pre-Columbian. When the Europeans came in the form of the Spanish and the French, and even the Dutch, when they came, they introduced different things, because the people who came to Grenada from Martinique understood the language of the Amerindians. So they were able to treat with them or to negotiate with them. Where you take that part and we will take this part.
Okay.
So they relegated them to the south, and they took the part by the harbor in St. George's.
Right.
And when the mosquitoes got the better of them, they moved over to the other side and built the fort on the hill.
Really? Okay.
And then all the forts were started by the French.
Right. That I know.
And you see how strategic they were all, especially the Montgelou Hill, where they had quite a few.
Well, because many times we're thinking of just the two main ones.
You're thinking of Matthew and Frederick.
Matthew and Frederick. But I do know, because it's almost the entire ridge that has forts.
Fortified. Fortified. And so language follow people. People communicate and people speak. And they further complicated it when they introduced African slaves.
Right.
Because you must understand too that the Africans came from a fabulous culture.
Oh yes.
There were universities in Africa before there were universities in
Europe and so forth. Oh yes, that I know.
And some people conjecture again that all the Africans were wild and primitive. That's not true.
Of course not.
They had a culture.
very, very civilized as well.
And
a
civilization that was way beyond what was happening in Europe.
Oh yeah.
So they came, but they discovered the people who brought them discovered that they spoke different languages. In other words, they didn't all speak the same language, and therefore they were very what they considered to be prudent not to put too many of one's language together, so that they could plot and make rebellion. So they were forced to speak French.
So now we see the whole melange taking place.
But you had words from the French, and when the English came 113 years later, not even then, perhaps beyond to 20 more years, when it was 1783, when they finally got it, because they went back and forth. They introduced English and said that if you spoke, well, they didn't say so, implied that if you spoke any form of broken French or broken African or broken any other language, you were illiterate.
Yes, ma'am.
And so you force them to think in English and speak English. The only thing about it is that they thought in French and spoke Frenglish. Therefore, you come now with the whole business of the French verbs being used in an English way.
Yes.
So you ask a child, "What is your name?" And the child looks at you askance as much as they say, "What are you talking about?" But you say how they call you.
Right. Yeah. And they know that for sure.
And right then they know that they're asking them how they call me. Yeah. And the verb appeler is used.
But the thing, when you really think of the practicality of the French language, the thing is, it makes more.
French is a precise language.
Exactly, it makes much more sense.
Exactly.
Because when you really think about it, a name is what you will call someone.
Yes.
It's not what is your name. When you really look at it in truth, it's not what is your name, because really and truly it is just that. What do they call you? Because when you have to call on someone, you speak to someone, you are calling them by name.
Yes.
So when you really think about it in truth, it is really more practical to say what they call you. But we have been brought up with this context and concept rather that says you illiterate or you're foolish to say what they call you.
But you see, what happened is that the people, the ordinary people, translated the French construction to English. So they weren't really talking English.
Well, at all.
For
Not
instance,
now,
this saying, it make hot.
Yes, that one for sure.
I know people say it make hot or it making hot. And the verb that they're using is faire. The French verb to make. To be hot. They don't say it is hot. So whereas it make hot.
But really and truly, that is what it is.
That is what
because
it is
making hot.
Yes.
Outside. Whereas when you say it is hot, technically no, what is the it that is hot? If we had to get very technical, then what is the it that is hot? But if you say it makes hot, then you know that it there speaks of your environment or something. Exactly.
Of being
it's
hot.
Really that is so interesting.
And so they spoke for English.
But are we still speaking English?
That's why I see. And I suppose a lot of people talk about it. The reason why we can't pass English or we don't have a high level of passing in English is because they're not teaching English as a foreign language. English is a foreign language.
It really is.
Teach it as a foreign language and you will have greater successes in the English language exam than the teachers that you teach French. You understand?
But then the persons who teach English, teachers who still speaking for English. So we have a real issue because what we are bringing into the classroom what we know.
Exactly.
So then
but let me complicate it even more.
Oh boy.
You bring the Africans in and they have some of them, because not all of them came from the same language base. Some of them have a thing where they double speak. And that's where we get things like reverse back.
Oh yes, and it doesn't.
You're
already exactly. But and no matter how much you teach people that it is redundant to say reverse back and other words, it's still done. And you see people doing this thing. Oh my goodness! Yeah.
And so when it mixed, like for instance, we say, well, yes, we.
Yes, which is yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And this we thing hasn't gotten out of.
No, at all. No, I don't know that one would
anywhere.
No, at all. That one is here to stay.
It's here to stay. I like it. You always have to
because why do we need to exactly? Because if you already say I like it, that settles it. I like it. Why do we need to say the we or yes at the end again?
You say, of course I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. Of course I like it. We.
Hold on, but the first because how do you spell that first? A force, because F-U-S-S.
With force, no force.
With
force. With force. A force.
What?
In other words, I like it real good.
But wait, so that force is spelled.
It's not first, F-I-R-S-T.
Exactly. No, I know that for sure. Really, a force. I like
it. We.
Okay.
And then now comes through, I don't like it now.
No, I know, but right now you still have me stuck on a first. Let me process a first. I like it. We'll take a break while I process a first. Because I really thought it was F-U-S-S, which is like you're making a fuss. But clearly, it doesn't make sense there at all.
With force.
Force. Okay, so let's take a break while I process that. By the time I come back, I'll be more together to get Yes? Let's take a break. And we'll be right back.
Strength like no other. Strength like no other. Reaches to me. You are like no
thank you very much for staying with us. If you're very excited as I am about this language lesson, because that is what it is. Well, I'm not sure when we finish with this, Gloria.
No. Because we have so much to talk about.
Exactly. So let's just go back. So I've wrapped my mind around the force. So now that you say it first, now you're like interfering with the way I used to say it, because I would say it without even thinking. Because we would say things like, at first I can't stand him. And then again, you have to say it with an attitude. Yes. These things cannot just be said.
They have to have context.
Yeah, but it has to come to, but even the attitude, because you have to say it in a certain way. Because you wouldn't just sit there and just say, at first I can't stand him. No, it's not the same thing. You have to say it, at first I can't stand him. You have to give, but in truth, because even that comes with more strength, and something comes out of you. At first I can't stand a man. Oh yes, it's force in truth. Because it's not just you just can't stand him, but it's a force. I can't stand him. I can't stand him a lot. I can't stand.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That is so colorful. This is a beautiful thing. Yeah.
And this is why we must try to understand that we have another language, and that language has origin, and it has a context that we could be bilingual.
But you can't teach this. But you can't teach this thing technically, Okay, when I say you can't teach it, it's like, even if you give the word and the meaning, as I said, it's like it has to be part of the culture to bring it out in its context with all of your service. Like I just said with the first I can't stand, it has to come out with a feeling. Yes. So it's more than just the words, but it has to come
context.
That is really interesting.
Context. And then, of course, you must understand that French have specific words for specific things. English doesn't. For instance, English might use one word to mean 10 things.
Oh, yes. Yes, and that can be so confusing.
French is a specific language. So, like, say, to know, I know him.
Right.
The French will have a specific word for that know.
Instead of as in just knowing, right?
Or I know that. That is a generalization. Just knowledge or something. So it's another word. So they have the savoir and the connaître. Those two verbs, and you have to know how to use them.
You should teach French. No. But no, not the French in itself. What I mean is, before the actual French class, I have been to several classes. They even sent me in Martinique on 2 occasions, because there was this wonderful program that was being introduced by the Alliance Française some years ago to try to bring basic French in primary schools. And at that time, I was a primary school teacher. But why I said that is what you just said, that every word, and I'm not saying that the French teachers don't do it, I'm sure they do, but sometimes something makes more sense to you when you know the a little bit more background of it than when you are just presented with the thing, and I believe that needs to come in as well. So it's not just a clinical language, but it comes and you understand why you even using that. Yes. Because I never, of all the time I've been dealing with French, I never thought of it the way you just said it, which makes it so simple. That because every word means specifically just whatever it means, there is a word for it. It makes a lot of difference, because if we thinking English, and that is what I believe a lot of students will do, you are going to French class or whichever one, but you go in there with an English thought, with an English mind.
Yes.
So it makes it difficult now for you, because you're not approaching the language with the right context and the right mindset in the first place. So then it becomes difficult.
But if you also have been told that the fluency of the use of another language or words from another language is wrong, and you give it a bad connotation that you can't speak good English.
Right.
It's like country bookie. It's like us talking about people from the country talking country bookie.
Yeah, we say that thing.
When in fact perhaps they're more precise in what they're saying.
Because so this one, how would you put he laughing me.
That's right.
Because we would say,
Laughing
stop.
at.
Exactly, you would say you're laughing at. You
At
say,
me.
and then we'll
But
make,
say
we
you
trying to
laughing
correct the
me.
person. Yeah,
Yes.
we would say,
But-
don't say that.
But one of the things I could never understand is borrow me a pen.
No, well, that one is wrong.
That
Not
one
so?
is bad. So we have
Yeah.
two things.
Exactly.
We have the colloquial English or the vernacular, the regular. We have bad English,
Exactly.
and then we have English, and then we have French.
Oh boy.
So the question is, what should we try to cultivate? But let me tell you, let me give you an example now. My father was a public servant for 40 years.
Right.
And every now and then, I would hear him quarreling about people who movalette.
Movalet.
Yes.
Right, Movalet.
Not
You
movalet. Bon.
What?
Bon valley.
Bovalet, not
Yeah.
Emma.
Bon. Good servant.
What?
Bon valley.
Uh-huh.
They bon valet.
But a valet is
A servant.
right.
And these are the people who bring news.
Ah.
So you talk about the bon valeting.
But it's a B? Well, for years I thought
Bon.
this thing was
Good.
a M. Moval. So is there a separate one that say Movalet?
Mova. That is another one that means bad. Movelang.
Eh. And that would mean
bad,
what, Lord?
bad
Bad
language.
mouth?
Move, bad mouth.
Oh.
Move lang, and that's a good French word. Move.
Move along. Oh, okay.
But bon valet
Uh-huh.
is what he would say. They're bon valeting. That
So
means they're
who-
bringing news
Uh-huh.
to the higher authorities, or they're sucking up to them. So they call them people who bon valet.
Okay. But I think I've never heard it then.
You never heard of
don't
bon
find.
valet? Well,
Certainly, even if I did, then because I never had the meaning or the understanding, then it must have passed, and I didn't even realize what was happening there. That's interesting. So you're Bovalet.
and then, of course, I told you about the French. Sorry, the Africans talking about, they never say a big head man, a big head. You have a big head. Everything is twice.
You have to double it.
Yes,
Right.
double it.
So it's not just
and
you have a
say
big-
small little,
What?
small little, or little small,
Okay.
or pinny winny.
Yeah, we know that one.
What is pinny winny?
Well, Pinny Winnie means that you're...
It's small.
It's small, but maybe it's smaller than the small. I think so. No, because
But
it's
do
not
they
just that
use
it's
pinny
small.
winny now? Should I use pinny winny?
I think you would still hear people saying that. It's a little Pinny Winnie. Oh, and look at that, he just did it. We say that. It's a little Pinny Winnie thing. Oh my goodness, well, it's barely noticeable.
You see, you emphasize. by
Yeah, it
repetition.
little. When we want it to be small. So why do we do that?
Because it's a language trait that comes from somewhere else that creeps into our language, and we use it because of our heritage. I don't know where we got Pinny Winnie from.
Right,
I don't know
but
if
the
there's an
double
African origin, but I know that the one feature of the African language
Is to
the
double.
to say kill him dead. If you kill him, he must dead.
Yeah, but you have to now kill him dead
Yes.
for him to die. Because now you know that.
You don't just kill him.
Oh my goodness. No, when you think about it, but the little, we certainly do that. It's a little boy.
Little child. You never say
Yeah.
a small child
No,
or a little child, a small little child.
I know for little. I don't think, in my mind, little and small, I would consider it bad English. So I wouldn't, but I do say the he's a little boy. So we really want to make you know
Oh,
it's
little.
not just a little, wow. But yes, the one with the big head. Hey, that man head, he have a big head.
Yes.
So you tend to, wow.
How
That
big
is-
is big?
Exactly, because does doubling it make it any bigger? That's interesting. Okay, the doubling. Okay, so the doubling is French. Sorry, African.
African.
Okay,
African.
that's interesting.
I'm looking here for the
You really causing me to now I have to go back and almost think over, you know, it's like thinking over all those that we have been, the things that we have been saying. That is so interesting. While you're looking there, there is one that I don't know where it came from. When we say a whole heaping setter this, where did we get that one from? Because we would say that it's similar to, you mentioned the one a little earlier about a lot. You used the term, oh goodness, I forgot. But this one is similar to it, because we would say that, hey, it's a whole heaping, we use it for people, we use it for things. A whole heaping set of this, or a whole heaping set of.
That might be one of the African languages that, you know, they for emphasis, because that kind of thing sounds Jamaican.
A whole heaping setter, because a whole already means all of it, or a lot.
Yes.
So then when you have a heaping again, and heaping is already a lot.
Yes.
And then, but now you have a set, which also, oh my goodness, so now it's 3. You have 3 things for emphasis. That's crazy. What did we, that's interesting. Well, maybe it's not crazy, but it is interesting.
It is that while people tell you speaking bad, bad English, it is not something that you should try to squelch or keep down.
I agree.
That's what I see. You know,
because language is about communication. That is the key in language. So as long as communication is taking place, then it has succeeded in what it has to do.
I understand what I'm trying to say to you, and you understand what I'm saying.
And that's it there. Then we have a problem.
Then we have a problem. You ever thought of this one? How much years you have? How much years you have?
Well, I haven't thought about it, but we use it all the time.
How much years you have?
Yeah, how much years you have? Which makes more sense than how
the French say,
old
quel
are
âge
you?
avez-vous?
Yeah. How much years? Exactly.
Have you?
How much years have you?
And we say, what is your, how old are you? How old are you? That is English. How old are you? But people,
how much years?
How many years you have?
Yeah, and then because if you still say how old are you, and the person answers, well, when the person answers, say I am whatever years old, it still comes back to answering what the French would have asked.
That's right.
Which is how much years you have. So when you really think about it, you're answering the French question. Is the French question you're already answering in any event?
You're telling them how many years you have.
Exactly. that is interesting.
So I mean, you know, there's something about our ways of communication. For example, as I told you, the Africans couldn't talk to each other because they had different languages. They mixed them up, but they had certain things like the shell,
right,
and the drums,
which is language as well.
Yes, they communicated by the shell. If somebody's lost, they blow a shell. If they have fish selling, little fishes are small shell and big fishes are big shell.
Really?
That's what I heard.
I thought, okay, when you're selling fish,
all
not just
fish is fish?
Yes, I thought that.
No, but I hear if you have little fish, you have
a different sound. Okay.
And they still blowing shell.
Oh yeah, we still blow shell.
And if you lose somebody and they're going out looking for them, you blow shells.
That's interesting. And then you have, from the Africans, we use the shells. But then when you even think of the Jews, for example, they would have used the ram's horn, which is a shofar. So, interesting, yeah. That is rather interesting. And that is a language all by itself, because based on the amount of blasts on whatever is you using, that is what actually said what is happening. All right, that's it. It's just that this is giving me so much more to think about. Where did we get, what about the in everything? We say a lot of like archer. So archer. We use that one. Then we have things like a day, a hungry, a thirsty. Are you? Instead of saying all you.
Are we?
Are we?
They say are we too.
And then all are.
Oh yeah.
All are. So where did we get the are and the all?
I don't know, but that is a big one, you know. That's a
Because
big one.
this one is I mean, it's in our language. That one fills our language, right? Because we have all man Jack, all know so, all you and I, right? Then we have all how, all are you all this time. That's a whole lot of all, and we say this so many times.
I personally think it's African. It could be African.
Okay, so then
that's just again a conjecture. There's no real people who study languages would be able to say where we get this
because we definitely use it a lot.
There's another one about there, eh?
They.
Well, we say they for there.
Exactly.
Okay, so
and we use
how are you, Muela? I am there. That is the answer.
Ade.
Sakafe. Muela.
Wait. Stay that over. Bring me back. Sakafe. What is that?
What are you doing? How are you doing?
Really?
It's a question. How you do?
Wait. So Sakafe is patois?
Yes. It's Creole. Careful how you use the word patois.
So that's what I'm asking. It's
patois means a broken language. Creole is a language.
Okay then.
So Sakafe. And the answer is Muela. I am there.
Right.
So we translate it again into English and we say Ade. I'm there.
Oh, so Ade is actually a translation from this and. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So we translate it too.
And then we have a thing of saying, for instance, you say, where are you? Or where your day? Where your day?
Yeah, where your day? Yeah,
I don't day home now.
Right. Yeah.
So why they say I am not home? Why don't they say I'm not home? They say I don't
day home. Instead of just I not home.
I'm not home.
I'm not home. I don't day home.
And they like the there. They always
we say it. We I think, and I believe we say it, well, obviously without thinking. Most times we say it without thinking.
But there means something in context again. I'm not there home yet. I'm not there home now. Why not?
But yeah, because why do we need to add that in
why
there?
Why we need to put it there? But they like the there. I don't day home now.
Hear what? The language is as sweet as the food that we eat. No, because it's now that we, as we dissecting it and looking at each, like the different phrases, and so that is when you're realizing why do we do that? Why do we say some of those things? We definitely do. But if you have to now ask a child to explain that, well, not just a child, anybody. Now we were getting into problems because, well, I don't know how you mean. And you would hear people saying, well, how you mean? How you mean explain it for you? It just mean just what I say. Yeah.
And then, of course, I go now to some of the English heritage. Because basically we're talking about French heritage.
Right.
That's on my phone.
Let's go ahead.
We have a lot of traditions that we've gotten from what we call the colonial masters.
Right.
But we are holding on to them tenaciously. And they always bring, for instance, cricket. Cricket is an English game.
Right.
But once the West Indies started beating England in cricket, we swear that it's a Caribbean game. I mean, when cricket playing, you hear everybody getting near close to our radio and the whole, if a wicket score, and And the language of cricket to me is so complicated. Square leg and fine leg and silly mid-on and all that. I can't understand it because I'm not a cricket.
Wait, but and you're calling out all these terms there?
But I'm listening to it.
Okay then.
But I don't know where these places are on the cricket pitch, on the cricket field. I know there's a pitch, I know there's a batsman and a bowler.
But you and I have the same amount of information.
I don't know. I know when he hit the ball, he either runs or he just has 4. He doesn't run, but he stands up and the umpire say 4. And if it's a 6, the same thing. But between 1 and 4, he has to run.
It's amazing. Yeah. Okay. True. Yes, sir. Well, anyway, I'm not even bothering to look for that because I don't know.
You have the language of cricket. You also have the language of marbles.
Right. But so marbles is that English
game?
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I don't think it's anything.
But then pick. You remember pick with the especially with the stones, right?
I had my own setup of stones. Wasn't it stones?
Yes, of course. You have to have the stones. And the next time we come back, if we have to continue to talk about these things, we'll have to bring the thing because there are some people who might be listening to us. They can't
anymore because the teachers tell them when they play stones or the parents tell them when they play stones they get duns.
They get duns by using stone?
Not realizing that the children learning to count.
Of course, to count, yes.
But the language of marbles to me is even more fascinating. For instance, when you roll up and you go in the ring, and you target in the ring, you're fat.
What?
You didn't know that?
No. I didn't play much marbles. Well, first of all, I couldn't get into a marble game because I had a big brother. And when the boys are playing, like, hello, I couldn't get into that at all. So I used to skip instead. A lot of skip. I was into skip rope a lot.
You were put in your place.
Of course. Yes. You can't dare touch the marbles.
I had one brother, no sisters.
Well, I had one brother and one sister, but I couldn't get into the marbles.
But I had to play marbles with him.
Right.
Because he wanted, so I knew how to play marbles. I know how to do zop and span.
I have no clue what you're talking about. No. So hold on. So we'll have to get
the games.
I'm serious. We'll have to come here and have, because for sure you'll have to teach me. I mean, I know you have how to hold it. I know for sure you have to hold it and pitch.
Yes.
That part I know. But you said there is a fat. What that mean?
If you roll up, you remember you have to roll up so you know where your toe is going.
Well, what is that? Wait. The toe is the one that you're pitching with, right?
So you roll up and you get in a place now.
Close enough
to the ring. But if you get in the ring itself, you're fat.
No, how you spell that fat?
I don't know. F-A-T, I suppose.
You're fat. Okay.
I never broke it down. All I know, you're fat, you have to pick up your toe and go back to the starting place. And you lose your place in the rolling up.
Oh, I never knew that. Well, as I said, I watch marbles for all these. I mean, I watch it, but that doesn't mean I understood anything. So there was a, what is it, zop?
Zop and span.
So what is a zop? What is zopping?
Zopping is another form of marbles where one person would start the game by rolling up. And the others have to either hit him on the way in rolling up, and then they span with their
hands. Okay.
And if they're near enough to him, they could.
Okay. So at which point, children would end up with somebody else's marble? Because then you're playing for marble.
Hit his marble.
So if you hit the person marble, his marble becomes yours. Yes. But that used to cause a lot of confusion, you know. Maybe it's still causing confusion.
But I don't know if children play marbles.
No. Some children do. Yeah, children play it. Maybe not as we I shouldn't even say we. Maybe not as it used to be before, but children do play. They do play marbles. But then they used to use a cannon. That I remember from my brother. Because I don't know if it's part of an old thing in a vehicle. They used to have these little silver balls that look like marbles, but clearly you didn't buy that, and it's heavy. I don't know the name of it, but of course where they used to use it as marbles, and people, they want to get that from you. I don't know what they used to get it in. It's out of a vehicle part, I believe, that they used to get this thing. I remember that in particular. And then, of course, we haven't even gotten to when you're rolling cart, because that's a whole different story. Again, we'll have to organize these things and bring it here, because you're right, because it's a whole language inside of it. Yeah. Okay, because you know why I'm winding down. We already almost out of time.
I know, I realize that.
You're so disappointed. I know, it's almost like we didn't reach anywhere again today, but that's okay. We're getting somewhere. At least we went back to the history.
What I would like to do is to get some feedback from some of the listeners and the viewers.
Oh, that'd be great.
As to, you know, if they remember all these things, because this is really memory lane for me. Yeah.
So maybe what we will do. We are inviting you, the listeners and viewers, for the next time, which will be God's willing, it will be the 4th Friday in October. What we can definitely do is get some of the things that we are talking about. And those of you who have questions, comments, and so, please share it on our Facebook page so that we'll have it in advance, and then we can, talk a little bit about what we, have received from our audience. That could definitely work. So the marbles, that is your responsibility.
And some of the exclamation words that they use
in the marble game.
No.
Because I'm just wondering.
Every day, like bonje.
Yes.
People say bonje.
Yeah, we still. Oh yeah. People still say bonje.
Bonje say.
Yeah. Who?
Say.
No, I don't know that one.
Bonje say.
So that's different from bonje. Bonje is just like, oh my goodness.
Yes.
Right.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but then bonje say would be what?
Say is I think a corrupted form of monsieur, Mister.
Oh, right. I get that. Okay, I understand where that will go. So Papa O will be what?
Papa
because
O.
we usually say that you're Papa O, and
Oh, we Papa. Funny enough, we don't say we Mama. It's always Papa.
I wonder why.
I don't know. But we say Makume.
Who is
or
Makume?
Or Makme.
Wait, and that is somebody who peep in.
No. Makme
really?
is your good friend. Your good.
Really?
Yes, your good friend.
Oh my goodness.
A
Makme? So why is a Makume same thing?
Makume is, yes.
So hold on. So which one is the one I'm talking about?
Makme Farm.
What is that? Okay.
Makme Farm is a man who minds people's business, or is kind of two ways.
Oh, interesting.
This is a Makme Farm.
Oh, so it's a man or man?
Well, no, there's no man in it at all. Makme is woman.
Really?
Yes. And farm is also woman. So a Makme Farm.
Oh, so if you're referring to a man in that, okay. Yeah. All right, that makes sense now. Oh my word.
Makme Farm.
A Makme.
But your Makume could be your good girlfriend.
Really?
Yes, your good buddy.
There was someone, an older lady, who used to always say, but she would say things, according to what you say, she would be like, Makme Farm girl. But I used to be like, why is she calling people that? Oh, mean my good friends. Okay, that's why.
Is my good friend. Makme Farm is the man.
No. Sorry, that one. No. The first one I just said it. Yeah. Makme. Yeah, Makme. That one. She used to say that. But I used to say, I thought, so I had the wrong meaning in my mind. Okay. All right. So you know what I'll have to do? I'll have to go and study for this thing. Yes, I have to go and study, because this looks at the whole language. And maybe we do need to teach it.
Bazudi and Tutulbe and Mbete and all those words that
let's use Bazudi for the road. Bazudi is what? The one for the road.
Bazudi is when you're confused.
Bazudi not nothing to do it when you drink?
No.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
It's when you're confused. I don't know where she got it from, but she she's a Barbadian. And she thought the music was so bad.
Yes, we know that, right. But maybe that you have us so confused, so you have it all over the place.
Yeah,
Could
because
be.
she couldn't even remember her husband's name.
Oh my goodness, really? Because
But
of the music?
that is the song.
I know that's what I'm saying, yeah.
But the Bajans didn't used to speak French because they were
Right.
English also.
All the way,
So
right.
she got Bazodi from the Eastern Caribbean mostly.
Ah, has to be.
Music had also Bazodi
I tell
inside
you.
of the band.
That you couldn't even remember.
But then,
It
of
was-
course, we haven't even touched the fact that all of Carnival and the language of Carnival is French.
Is all true. Okay, so we know where we're going next month.
So you
God's will.
can't have a Dimash Grand Thursday night in Progress Park. Dimash
Gloria.
means Sunday.
Gloria, leave the people alone. On that note, thank you for joining us. It was a really good chat. So next month, God's will,
Next month,
God's willing.
we will continue and we would very much like feedback.
Yes, right. So we making a call. And what I can do is about the third program in the month. I can issue a little call for that. So we will do that. Have a great rest of your day and a wonderful weekend. Stay safe and God's blessings on you. Gloria, thank you again for coming.
Thank you for having me and all the best
Amen. Right.
to everyone.